I know that I know y'all started with Lee last some of our team did anyways last year with some goal setting and planning for the new year. And I know all the teams have done that and at a high level, and everyone's got their plans kind of in place. So the idea behind us all getting together, Craig, myself, Lee, and Chris, was thinking if we could collaborate, three of the top teams in the company collaborating at a high level to hit our goals for this year, we could definitely hit them a lot faster. And then also the referral opportunities between each of the teams would be amazing to have that. And just having another leader to lean into when something may seem like, hey, I'm working on this and your team is really great at this. And we are not as focused on that particular item. I'd love to lean into what you're doing. Could I attend a meeting that you're doing? Could I listen to some scripting?
Invite Craig.
And
Yeah. Okay. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're gonna see Shelly's face all up in your face. Yay! All right. Bye.
Hey, Katie.
Katie. Yeah,
Um,
Katie, you're not muted.
Oh, sorry. Megan, I was just telling
Still
Megan how to
muted.
get on.
You're still not muted though.
I don't.
You have to mute yourself.
Lower left-hand corner. Usually.
There you go.
Anyways, the reason this will be a great opportunity for us to lean in, help each other, build our businesses, grow this year even more than we ever have. We all have huge goals for each of our teams and each individual person. And we have coaches and leadership on the teams to help us all get there. And that's why we're here. So just to really appreciate everyone trusting me in this process, that this is going to be great for all of us. And thanking Craig. And we have a special guest today, one of my most favorite people on earth. I've had the honor, and a lot of you have had the honor to see Gene on stage. He's one of the most dynamic people I've ever met, and the fact that he's been in our shoes. He's led it he's been an agent. He started out as a rookie, and from what he tells me, he was pretty much a failure. So, and now he's one of the #1 legendary leaders in our entire industry. So to have him on this call to launch us off in 2026 is massive for us all to win, and to have him share his insights on what he's seen work. Everything that worked over the past few decades still works today. We just add a few pieces to leverage what we're doing, but if the fundamentals are still always there, and if you want to be successful like Gene is, it really is coming down to people and loving on people, caring about people, listening to them, helping them hit their goals, and just being there. And he's been there for me in that capacity. He's been there for Craig in that capacity, Lee and Chris. So I just am really excited to announce him. He's also written a book recently called Be the Legend. And it's a book that has actionable items in it for you to take for your life and for your business, things that have worked for him. So I would recommend grabbing that book if you can. And also, he wrote another book that he's going to be talking to you about today to get you launched into this new year. So thank you, Gene, for being here. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We really appreciate it. We're excited. This is your year. This is your moment. One quick thing I'll recommend you do is if you're on a Zoom, put it on speaker mode. That way you're not distracted by people driving, taking their kids to school or whatever they're doing. You can focus on Gene. And the other thing I'm going to ask you to do is to get your pen and paper out and take notes. Because without that, it goes in your brain. You think you're going to remember it. And then you get in your car and you go to your client and you forget everything Gene said. And you're like, oh, what was that thing he said? That way you can go back and, like Brent says, take notes from your notes. So when you take notes, you learn better and you retain more. And then you can pick actionable items to put in your business and move from there. So thank you, Gina, for being here. Really appreciate it.
No problem, guys. Can everybody hear me real well? Just do a little wave or something so I know you guys can hear me. Awesome. Thank you very much. Here's what I'm going to do for you guys today. Now, before I wrote this latest book, I was teaching lead generation 20 years ago. Now, 10 years ago when I left KW, I actually put it in book form. And that's what I'm going to teach you today. I wrote a book, 101 Ways to Lead Generate in Real Estate, specifically for us, okay? You can actually get that on Amazon too. But what I'm going to share with you today, and I know Lee and Shelley and Chris know. What do you guys think you should be doing every day? Now, I know what these guys have big teams, so they go, well, I want you to show property, list homes, whatever. Until I found this out, and it was actually about 26 years ago, I was kind of just working really hard. I'm just telling you, I was busting it, trying to, sell as many homes as I could, but I didn't know the key to lead generation. I'm going to teach you today the key to lead generation, okay? Besides the leads you're getting from your team, I don't think anybody, all these team leads would be mad at me if I told you how to generate leads without getting leads from your team lead. Is that okay? All right, that's what I'm going to do today. All right, it changed my life when I read this book. It's the best sales book ever. You don't have to get it because I'm going to give you the tips from it. It was Malcolm Gladwell's book, The Tipping Point. Okay, don't have to read it because I'm going to give you what the key was. He talked about connectors. You know what a connector is? A connector it's a special person. I think of Brett Gove, right? I think of certain people that basically they just connect well with people. Now, what connectors do, they're networkers. They do it innately. You do not have to pay them for leads. What they do is they give you leads automatically. All right? Just so you know, and I'm sure you guys are like me, I come from a very large family. Not one of my relatives have given me a lead. I've been in real estate 40 years. Has this ever happened to you guys? You just wonder why my best friend, I have my two best friends in life that I still hang out with, guess what? Never once have given me a lead. They're not connectors, right? A connector will give you a lead automatically. Now, you guys could funnel through all the homes you've ever sold, all the past clients, and you're going to find out, you need to look through there and find the connectors. Okay, you need to go, oh, wait, that person's given me 2 leads this year. They give it to you automatically. All right, there's no script needed. They just say, I know the best realtor in town, right? Oh my gosh. The minute somebody even mentions real estate, they go, oh, I know Shelley. Oh my gosh. And they give you a lead. Okay, you got to know who your connectors are. The second person you need to identify are salespeople. That's us, right? Any salesperson, car salesperson, furniture salesperson, whatever, we innately refer, right? Somebody calls you today and says, hey, where's the best restaurant in Charlotte? What do you say? I know it. Where's the best sushi place? Boom. Who's the best doctor? Got it. We are the central point of contact, right, for almost everything in our town. Well, salespeople are like that. Again, they innately give you leads. Once I found that out, guess what I started doing? Looking for those people. I realized that really 95% of my database is never going to send me a lead. But once I found my connectors and salespeople, I worked through them. All right? So what I'm going to teach you today, the other thing, any questions on that? What a connector and a salesperson is? Feel free to ask me any question because I got news for you. Until I found that out, I was just working real hard, right? And I'm going to give you guys scripts today that'll jumpstart your business this year. I'm going to give you tips today that I'm telling you, you go crazy, Chris. If you teach this to all your people, if the team leads teach what I'm teaching you today to all your folks, they'll go crazy. Because besides getting leads from Chris or Shelley or whatever, and you guys are looking at property, you need to generate leads. All right? What I'm going to teach you today is what I've been actually teaching agents. I've taught some of the top agents in the world, literally, these things. Once they picked out 3 buckets. Now I want you to write this down. You need to pick out 3 ways you're going to generate leads. Not 10, not 15. Every single top agent in the world I've interviewed people making 10 million a year. I'm talking in GCI. And they could tell me exactly their 3 buckets. Okay? 1 bucket is always going to be what? Your database. Write that down. Right? 1 bucket's always going to be your database. I actually don't even talk about it in my book because your database should always be, you'll know your connectors and salespeople in your database. Okay. So I want you to pick at least 2 from what I'm going to give you today that actually, what's funny? I never looked at real estate as being hard. I've never been burned out. You know why I've never been burned out? I made my hobbies my real estate business. I made what I like to do into leads. I'm just telling you, if you look at real estate like that, I used to tell my son, in fact, he just left yesterday. I said, I'm going to go play realtor today. And he says, when I come home, I'm going to play dad. I looked at this as a big game, but I literally knew where I was going to get. Once I figured this out, guys, I was selling 100 homes a year with myself and one assistant, 100 to 120 homes a year. Okay. And it wasn't stressful. Okay. I'm going to give you some buckets today. I want every bucket I'm going to give you. I've coached an agent that is making at least 10 to 30 sales a year from one bucket. You only need a couple buckets. You got your database giving you leads all the time, right? Because you're working those connectors and salespeople, but you need at least 2 other buckets. I'm going to shout these out to you, and you're going to laugh about it. I'm going right from my book. 101 Ways to Lead Generate. Because guess what? These are actually, I could name you an agent that I've coached that was doing this. And when they did it, they liked it. They enjoyed it. They didn't look at it as work. The first one I have in my book is garage sales. Isn't that funny? I had a couple agents that loved to go to garage sales. I know basically you guys do it online now, but I had agents that went, if you go to a garage sale, what happens when people are doing garage sales? What do you think? Maybe selling stuff to move? Right? Maybe clearing stuff out? Hello? Car dealers. Guys, here's what I always did. I always asked the car dealer, who's number 2 in sales? Not number 1. I don't want the number 1. I want who's number 2 when I bought a car. I literally asked the general manager for that. They said, it's Susie over here. She's number 2. She's trying to be number 1. I got to know Susie, right? I said, Susie, I am going to refer so many people to you. Now, if you want to go up in sales price, what kind of cars are you going to go look at every day? Who's the car salesperson you want to know? The Mercedes dealership, the BMW dealership, right? If you want to go up in price, go get to know those. Of course, I own a Honda, so I'm just selling first-time buyers. Furniture sales. Guys, every time I went to buy furniture, you know what I would say to the salesperson? My gosh, how much did you make selling me this couch? And they'd go, I don't know, a couple $100. I said, man, you're a great salesperson. You ought to get into real estate. Local schools. Guys, I'm telling you, of course, Susan and I sold real estate. We have 5 kids, if you don't know that. We have 10 grandkids. Why did we not think real estate was hard? We have 5 kids. We got involved in the schools. We joined the soccer club with the other soccer parents. We joined the band with the other band parents. We literally got involved in what? Their school stuff. You just don't drop them off at school. You want to get involved. If you don't have any kids, just invent one. That's all I'm saying. Just invent a kid. Pretend like you have one. They might think you're a little crazy, Chris, but go ahead and do it. Okay. PTA. I always went to the PTA meetings. Why? Because they were in the middle of the day at like 3 p.m. and I could go to them. Schools were a big thing for me. I worked the schools as hard as I could, and I got to know everybody. Here's the thing with another bucket. HOAs. HOAs. You guys want to get involved? Go to the HOA. Here's the key to HOAs. Please don't be the president of the HOA. They hate you. Everybody hates the president. Here's what I want you to do to the HOAs. I want you to be the welcoming committee. I want you to say, I'm going to volunteer for the welcoming committee. So everybody that comes, I'm going to bring them the bread basket. Even if you didn't sell them the home, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get to know them. Their realtor probably doesn't even stay back in touch with them. You got to know them, shake their hands and give them the bread basket. Okay? Here's a biggie. What do you guys do for exercise? I hope something. I just met a gal the other day that she was on the national bike team as a woman. She goes, I got to meet Lance Armstrong. I got to do other shit. I said, really? She goes, yeah. That was her passion, right? Whatever your passion is, me, it's golf. If I was getting back into real estate right now, I'd be Chris Stagey, my buddy in Austin. He says, Gene, all I do is the golf clubs. I get to know every single person that's running every single golf club in town, and I sell the golf communities. So what do you guys do for exercise? Guys, make it fun. Okay, anybody work out in the gyms? I got news for you. Gyms, the personal trainers are the best I know. I used to have a personal trainer when I was in Dallas. He knew I was moving to Virginia before anybody else. Why? I told him, right? So if you have a personal trainer, they know everybody moving before anybody else. Anybody want to go up in price range? I did at some point. I was always selling first-time home buyers, second times. Here's the key to going up in price range. Country clubs. I was never a member of a country club. Here's the key to country clubs. You don't have to be a full country club member if you don't have the money. You can be a social member, right? You can go have breakfast there every day. You can go have lunch there every day. You can do happy hour every day. You need to go a lot so people what? Know you. And then who's the connectors at the country club? I know you guys know this, you're realtors. The bartenders. I am telling you, the bartenders. The bartenders are the connectors and networkers. I get to know the bartender. They've been working there 20 years at the country club. Yeah, they know who's moving before anybody else. All right? Anybody getting anything out of this? I feel weird on a Zoom because I usually do this in person. Thank you. God, I feel like I'm like, it's kind of weird when you're on like a little tiny thing here.
This is awesome.
So, good. Country clubs are big. I mean, Jan Ritchie was #1 in our office forever. And I said, Jan, she goes, Gene, just join the country club. Susan will, play cards with the girls and hang out. She doesn't have to play golf. She just hangs out, just get to know people, right? And by the way, Jan Ritchie didn't live in the country club community. She didn't live in where the expensive homes were. She lived outside. She goes, Gene, I just joined the country club. Got to know everybody. Apartments. As I told you, Susan and I, we laugh about it now. We raised 5 kids together, and we would take our kids to the apartment pool areas. We weren't living at the apartments. We just swam at the apartment pool areas. We got to know everybody at the apartments because they're going to move out of the apartments eventually. I thought that was a good one. Susan and I got tons of leads that way. I thought, let's just go take the little 8-year-old and we'll swim over there. Okay. I don't know about you guys, but my wife goes to Costco once a week. We are Costco people. I don't know if you're Costco people or Whole Foods people or whatever. When I lived in Austin, Whole Foods was huge. I purposely would go at the busiest times. Why? Because I wanted to run into a lot of my customers there. I literally wanted to make sure they knew I was still there, that I was still the best realtor in town. Hey, anybody work in the assisted living people? Do you guys know? I'm a baby boomer. If you can't tell, I still have hair. Sorry about that, guys. But I still got the hair. But I'm a baby boomer, born between 1946 and 1964. I have agents that did nothing but nursing homes. Let me give you an example. My wife's mom passed away in Youngstown, Ohio. We lived in Dallas, Texas. And we asked the person at the assisted living when she passed, who's the best realtor in town? She goes, I got him. Actually gave us a person to list her home in Youngstown, Ohio. Get to know those people. You got to love it. By the way, it's got to be a passion. It's got to be a purpose. You've got to love the elderly. Yeah, I just got to love me, even though I'm getting up there. Okay. Anybody like to play poker? I had an agent that did nothing but poker parties. I kid you not. He says, Gene, this is the easiest gig I know. You want to farm an area? He says, I throw all the poker parties for my farm area. It's every Friday night, boom, boom. I set it up. I invite the people. I got everybody's email. Everybody knew him. I had another woman that set up bunco parties. I don't even know what bunco is. I call it drunko bunco. I don't know. I know when the women get together, I just leave. My wife does one. She goes, I'm going to a bunco party. I'm out of here. So in other words, I literally had an agent. She goes, I throw 3 bunko parties a week, Gene. I have all the leads I need. All the leads I need. See how easy this is? Everybody thinks it's hard, but you've got to have a plan. And by the way, if you do the things you want to do, it's not hard. I'm going to go play realtor today. Okay, I'm going to steal this and share with you from Michael Mayer's book. Guys, I've read every single sales book imaginable in my 40-year career. And I met Michael Mayer. College alumni associations. You know, I actually graduated from ASU, Arizona State. You don't have to graduate. If you just went a semester, go to the alumni association. Now, if you're into this and you really like it, you go, well, I hate going to big meetings with 100 people there, or any meeting you go to. Here's how you work it. And this is very, very key. This will make you not be stressed out, and you won't feel like you have to meet 100 people. Go write this down. Go an hour early. Go an hour early to the alumni thing and say, who's leading this? And they go, well, Shelly's leading this. She's led the Alumni Association for the last 5 years. So who do you think is the connector of the whole thing? Shelly. So you go an hour early and you go, Shelly, I'm Gene Frederick. I've never come to the Alumni Association. I'm going to start coming. Can I help you set up the room? Can I pull the chairs out? Can I do anything for you? She goes, boy, there's a helper. You help her set up the room. Now, what do you do during the meeting? Who do I stand next to? Shelly. I stand next to Shelly. I don't need to meet anybody else. I said, Shelly, could you do this for me? And she goes, what? I said, could you do me a favor and introduce me to the major influencers of the club, the people I really should know that come all the time, that are super nice? And what am I looking for? Connectors. So I stand next to the big connector, and she introduces me to the influencers. Once I meet the influencers, I leave. I'm there for an hour early, a half an hour into it. I can leave now. I don't have to sit for 2 hours or 3 hours at the meeting. I don't know if you guys you probably think I'm a high I. I'm not as high I as my wife. My wife throws every party here in Puerto Rico. We just had 150 people at our New Year's Eve party. We throw every party. That's because of Susan. Me, I'd rather talk to Chris all day. I'd rather meet one person, that's my personality, and just talk to one person at the whole party, right? So you don't have to be the person that goes around and meets everybody. That's not the key. The key is to meet who? Connectors and salespeople. I want to meet influencers. At the party, I can leave. Now I can go to a lot of, you guys can be a networker. You don't have to be that high I that wants to meet everybody in the room. Is that good? I think that's really, really good. Any charity, I really believe in, Susan and I are given to so much charities now, but basically pick the charity you like to give to, work it. Really give back to your community. And don't ask for leads, they'll come to you automatically. Here's something I've taught forever, and I actually had an agent in Chicago after I taught him this 15 years ago. Is Gene, he says, I make $300,000 a year from this one thing. You want to know it? Okay. You go to Starbucks twice a week. You can even just do it once a week. Don't go during the morning because everybody's trying to get their coffee to go to work. You go about 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and you stand in line, and then you go look it, and you hand to the cashier $100 and say, look it, I'm paying for everybody's drinks behind me. I'm sitting right over there. You sit down with your laptop, and on the back of the laptop, what's the back of the laptop say? I sell Charlottesville. I sell, whatever town you're in, and people will get a drink. They'll come by and say, hey, thanks for the drink. You go, my pleasure. My pleasure. Oh, you're in real estate. Yeah. Yep. I see it here every Tuesday at 2 o'clock if you ever need any help. Boom, boom, boom. Very consistent. By the way, I've taught this forever, and the people that have done it, they're usually the new agent that says, I'll see if that works. And it works. You could give them $50. You don't have to give them 100. when I was teaching this in Portland, literally 7, 8 years ago, you guess what the guy told me? Gene, I hate Starbucks. I said, cool. So you hate Starbucks? He goes, but I love the bars. So he went to his local bar and did the same thing. He literally went, because he was consistent. He goes, I go to the bar twice a week, go at 5 o'clock, give $100 to the bartender, say, look, I'm sitting right over there. If anybody wants it, yeah, I'll buy drinks for the next $100. Guys, it is not hard to get leads. You just have to have a plan, right? You just have to have a strategy. Don't have to do them all. All the ones I've been talking to you about today, just pick 2 and be consistent. That word consistent is really, really important. Place of worship, huge for me. Place of worship. In fact, I taught this in Austin when I was there, and a gal that was Muslim said, I said, here's what I want you to do. You guys are going to laugh at this, I hope. But I said, who's that guy that tells you to pay off everything? What's his name, Shelly? Dave
Ramsey.
Dave Ramsey. Okay. Because Dave Ramsey goes to churches and tells people how to pay off all their bills. I said, you ought to go to your priest or whatever and say, you know what? I want to teach beginner classes on how to buy their first home. What I first said is, you want to tell your priest, I'm a realtor. I want to teach everybody how to not pay their taxes. I'm an expert at it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm laughing because basically every person I know it's a tax problem with realtors because we forget to pay our taxes. But you really want to give back to the place you worship. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid. You know, right now, I don't know about you, but there's some great mortgages out there right now, right? I don't know if you know this, but a buddy of mine from a mortgage company is helping people. By the way, if you don't know this, I'll give you the guy's information so you can find out. You don't have to do a contingent to sale anymore. His mortgage company is so big, if you have a listing that wants to sell, they can buy their new home without selling theirs. The bank will buy their home automatically, cash. Did you know that? It's unbelievable. If you don't know about that, call me offline. I'll give you. When I heard this, he taught it at EXPCon. Everybody went, what? Yeah, so there's no contingency. Now all you have to do is on that back home, on the one they're listing, have to have at least 30% equity, right? And there's a lot of people out there that have 50% equity, actually own their home free and clear. But, you know, in the old days, they couldn't buy the new one without selling the old one. You can now, right? I'm telling you, man, when I heard that, you know what? I'd probably call all my past clients right now. Here's the way to get business. You leaders ought to have your people do this. Call at least 5 past clients a month and say, hey, do you know of a new way? If you're ever thinking of selling your home, you don't have to sell it. We have a company that will buy it for cash and have you move into your new home. Is that a way to get business from your clientele? You know, there's a lot of people that want to sell, but they got a 7% mortgage, right? And they think they don't want to get rid of that. And I know you've heard this before, and these are things we've been teaching forever, but literally one of my best listing agents I ever had did door knocking. And I know I've never door knocked, but guess what? This guy loved it. And they loved it. He goes, Gene, I know I can knock on so many doors. Boom, boom, boom. Are you interested in selling your homes in the near future? You know, we have a mortgage plan now that can buy your home, blah, 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 whatever. And door knocking still works. Calling FSBOs and expireds still work. They work extremely well. Anything you like to do for a hobby. I had an agent that worked, believe it or not, I was in Dallas, Texas. She loved horses. She worked the horse shows. I had an agent that was the president of the Corvette Club in Texas. And she goes, Gene, that's all I do is the Corvette Club. You guys, is it ringing through now? You kind of thinking maybe it's not that hard? You know, and I said, what do you mean? She goes, oh, no, I have to drive to Houston. We do the Corvette Club down there. I meet everybody I sell a home to. I mean, I just refer out. And I know everybody. Kind of going through, seeing, not giving you all of these. You can always get the book. You know, next to the personal trainer number one is guess who? Who is the connector in your world? The hairdresser. Oh my gosh. The nail person, I mean, my gosh, if I was you guys, I'd get a haircut at different hair places. They know everybody. Everybody tells when they're going to move before they're going to move. You're going to laugh at this one. Banks. Nobody goes into a bank anymore. My wife and I, she always went in. Here's a key to my lead generation. I don't use drive-throughs. Here's the key to everything. You need to go to work every single day as if, well, don't call it work, say it plain realtor. Go with the logo shirt, logo blouse. This is real, guys. I've taught this forever. It should say EXP or I'm the best realtor in town, whatever it has to say. It has to have something with real estate on it. Why? Because when I've taught this, I've had people go, no, I don't want people to know I'm a realtor. Are you crazy? I always wore my stuff and I went into the bank. I never went through the drive-through. I went in the bank so they could see it. Guess what? The teller sold Susan. Susan sold the teller a home in Austin. She goes, she always knew she was in real estate. How's the market? Don't you guys want to ask? Don't you guys want people to say, how's the market? Well, if you don't wear your shirts, if you don't wear the logos, and I taught a guy this who was one of our top producers. He says, okay, Gene, I'll buy one of the shirts and I'll start wearing it. The first time he went to Home Depot, the first time the cashier said, oh, you're in real estate? Hey, I'm thinking of selling my home. He goes, golly, Gene, why haven't I been doing this? Okay. Guys, if you're not getting leads right now from your vendors, you're crazy. My mortgage person gave me leads like crazy. My title person gave me leads like crazy. Everybody you relate to in real estate, inspectors, appraisers, I let them know. I'm scratching your back, you scratch mine. You know, if you're not getting leads from those folks, move on. Get a new one. Anybody working moving companies? I had an agent that worked the moving companies. You know, and basically you go to the moving companies and say, hey, when somebody's thinking of moving, are you not going to rent the truck? They're actually sometimes calling to get the price of moving even before that. Hey, here's one that I had an agent work like crazy. I hate to say this because this is going to be major business. Divorces. What do I mean by that? Divorce attorneys. And I taught this, and guess you guys know Elizabeth Riley. You're laughing because everybody in our company knows Elizabeth Riley, right? You've seen her speak. When I was teaching her this, she goes, my next door neighbor's a divorce attorney. I've never talked to him. I said, what? Excuse me? I think I'll go over there and start talking to him. And guess what? She started getting leads, right? In your town, wherever you live, because I'm kind of having some problems with this right now with my family. It looks like they're going to go to court on the divorce, right? Guess what? There's a judge in town that assigns that house. The husband goes, I want you to use my realtor. The wife goes, I want you to my realtor. Actually, the judge gets to determine who to use. And guess what? I had a brand new agent. She went down to Austin, Texas. She goes, Gene, oh my gosh, that guy's giving me like a lead a week. I'm listing a home a week just from doing that. Go find out who that is. And if you want to, don't worry about the divorce attorneys or the divorce judges, go to the marriage counselors. Woohoo. Hate to say that. Hey, anybody using a reload company right now? I'm sure you guys are getting leads from relocation companies. If not, get to know them. It's a big, big thing. Anybody working new homes? Anybody working new homes? Or you guys have new homes in your area? Just so you know, I worked a lot of new homes in Dallas when I was selling because we have lots of new homes. Well, guess what? Here's one thing I did with the new home guys. Guess what? I knew the new home reps, they get paid to sit there. If you haven't met guys, they work every weekend. And they always worked the hot clients, but they always had somebody fill out a form when they came into the new home. I would go to the guy on Monday morning and gal and say, look, here's what I'll do for you. And they go, what? I'll call every single person that came in on Saturday and Sunday and see if they're still interested in your home. They go, you do that for me? I said, you bet I will. So I got leads from Pulte, D.R. Horton, Lennar, and I just took them because I got news for you. Those salespeople were too busy working the clients they had over the weekend. I said, look, I'll call every single one and try to get them pushed back into Lennar or D.R. Horton, whatever they do. You do that for me? Yes. I said, but if they're not interested in your home, is it okay if I pick them up as a client? Oh, yeah. Guys, it works so good. Unbelievable. I hope your heads are spinning by now. Your head's got to be spinning because there's got to be something you go, ooh, that's me. That's my personality. I could do that. Anybody working HUD and VA foreclosures, short sales anymore? If not, they're going to be coming back. You know that. Okay. Here's the biggie that Shelley brought up in the beginning. Why aren't we referring back and forth? Real estate agents, write it down. If you're not coming to our events, EXPCon, Cabo, all of them, and getting to know other agents in other towns, you're crazy. The number one agent for RE/MAX for 14 straight years was Mary and Joe Harker in Dallas, Texas. You know what they did? They had one bucket, real estate agents. One. I said, what do you do? Well, she goes to NAR. She goes to all of them, and she follows up with real estate. She was the agent in Dallas that everybody referred to. It doesn't have to be EXP agents. It could be RE/MAX agents, Coldwell Banker agents. I had another buddy of mine, Mike Mendoza from Keller Williams. He says, Gene, I make $100,000 a year from doing this one thing. Guess what he did? You go on a listing, what's the first thing you're going to say? Where are y'all moving? Well, you know, if you're in Michigan or whatever, I'm moving to Florida. Where in Florida? Naples. What are you going to say? He says, I say this. I know the best realtor in Naples. Is this okay if I have them give you a shout within 24 hours? Yes. He says, Gene, I say that on every single listing. And then I find the best realtor in Naples, tell them to call them within 6 hours, not 24. And he makes $100,000 a year from just referral fees. Just referral fees. Where are you moving? I know the best realtor in that town. You go, well, I don't know if I do. Yeah, you're going to find one. You are going to find one, baby. You know, right? You know how many people call me because I've been in the business 40 years and I've been with EXP 10 years, go, hey, do you know I have a good realtor in Tampa Bay? I go, yeah. I'm a connector. I don't ask for anything. I just hook those two realtors up and they work out the fee between themselves. Okay. I've gone through so many. I'm going to stop right now. Get you guys to ask me any questions about what you're hearing, what you're feeling. Anything?
I don't know if I had 5 pages of notes.
I know. I told you I teach this all the time and I'm just going like crazy. But actually, I taught it at EXP the first 3 years I was here because we didn't have any training.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Gene, what's your thoughts for 2026? You can't hear you. Shoot. Fine.
Hold on just a second.
Okay.
Let me put my earplugs back in.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
You hear me now? Okay, good. Get my earplugs out. 2026, we've had 4 years of not so good market, right? Whatever you want to say. 2026, I think I have a gut feeling we're going to come out of it this year. Okay. I have a gut feeling because they usually last 5 to 6 years, shifting markets. I just have a gut feeling it's going to take off again. I would call all my past clients and say this, oh my gosh, I think I got a gut feeling something's going to happen this year. Are you guys thinking of moving or not? Because I have a mortgage company that'll buy your home. We don't have to do this thing. I mean, I would tell them, look, I've got a solution for you. And they're going, yeah, I'm thinking of moving this year. All right. If you guys don't have a farm area, I've taught farming forever. And I know you guys have big teams. I don't know how you're structuring your teams, but there's no reason you shouldn't have farm areas for your people on your team to really bust it and get listings in that farm area. I haven't met one top agent in the world that doesn't have a farm area. It's just generating business. They dominate homes. Homes don't move except in East Texas. They're on wheels. Okay. So in other words, bottom line is I really believe this is going to be our big year. Here's another thing I'm going to tell the team members. I know I've been talking about production today, getting more buyers, getting more sellers. If you guys did this one thing as leaders with your team, they could become really good attractors, as we call it here at EXP. Here's what I'm going to share with you. I had an agent that never, this was at Keller Williams, because I was, as you guys know, I was one of the top recruiters for Keller Williams for 6 years almost in a row. And Trey Williams is a buddy of mine. He's with EXP now. You can confirm this with him. But he sold 85, 90 homes a year by himself with one assistant. I mean, he was his own big team. And for 6 years in a row, he's number one in our office. He never recruited anybody to Keller Williams. And Trey came to me. He's very methodical. He's an ex-engineer. He said, could you give me a system? Oh, okay, Trey, I'm going to give you a system. Here's the system I want you to teach. If you guys are going to sell 100 homes this year as a team, 200, 300, how big your teams are, if you had every single one of your agents do this after the sale, you'll attract a ton of agents. Here's what I taught Trey. 3 days after closing, write this down. 3 days after closing, I want you to call the other agent. Of course, you guys might text them now because you've been texting them. Email doesn't work anymore, but you text them or call them and go, hey, Chris, it was a pleasure working with you. Even if it wasn't, say it was a pleasure. Say, I'm so glad we closed on that home. I know we had a hard time, but I have a small gift of appreciation I want to give you. Can we go to Starbucks at 8 o'clock next Tuesday? 5 minutes. I just want to give you this gift and say thanks. By the way, I never got to meet you. 100% of the time they will show up. Everybody shows up for what? A free gift. Trey goes, well, what do I do next? I said, go there. He goes, what kind of gift should I give him? I said, I don't care. The gift isn't the key. You could go to Starbucks and give him a $10 Starbucks card. I don't care. You could give him a book. Oh, wait. I don't know. Somebody wrote one recently. You could just bring my book. You could bring anything. The key is you want to say thanks and talk real estate. He goes, I can do that. He says, what if they start asking about EXP? I said, that's not the reason for the meeting. Trey, you haven't been talking about Keller Williams for 6 years. He goes, yeah, I don't even know what to say. I said, good. Don't say anything. Say, wait, you're interested in EXP? Oh my gosh, I'm not the one to talk to. Oh gosh. You know, is it okay if I set up a meeting with Shelly or Chris or Craig on Tuesday and they'll explain it to you? See how easy that was? You don't have to do the presentation. Right? But now you've met another realtor. They're a buddy of yours. Nobody's given them a gift this year. Raise your hand if anybody's gotten a gift this year from another agent. I don't see any hands going up. Guys, this works. I wish, Shelly, I think it should not be a suggestion. I think it should be a requirement that you have your agents do this. And I think you all as team leads should give them the gifts to give. Just sell you buckets of these stupid little books.
We got that.
But it's something, right? Does this help?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this works. Guess what? Trey Williams, within 2 years, started recruiting people to Keller Williams. When I left as the team leader after 8 years at Keller Williams, guess who replaced me? Trey Williams. He was the best recruiter in the office. Wow. He went from not recruiting anybody to 2 years later feeling very comfortable. Guys, this works. By the way, I will talk about the book, which is funny. I just wrote this year because, quite honestly, I just wanted to give back. If you pull up BeTheLegendBook.com, it's on Amazon. You get discounts if you buy more than one. I'm not here to try to sell you books. I'm just trying to give you options of what to give them. Why do I do that? Why not? The foreword's written by some guy named Glenn Sanford. You know, and it's a sales book. A lot of my people have been calling, go, Gene, it's really good. It's an entrepreneur book. It's not the first one I wrote, which is 101 Ways to Lead Generate, because now it's anybody could use it, because it's all the things that I've done well in real estate relate to other stuff. I need more questions. I'm tired of talking. You
Gina,
can tell. I'm just like, look at me. Who is it like?
can you guys hear me?
Go
Gina,
ahead.
I wanted to ask you, what does it mean to an agent who attracts another agent by doing that system you just talked about? What does it mean for them, their family?
Oh my gosh. Well, are you kidding? If you attracted, as you guys know, if you attract, let's say that agent was a good agent, which is a capper, right? The first year, write this down, you'd make $1,400 and you get a bonus up to $4,000 the first year if they cap. Oh, wait. You mean if I attracted 10 agents next year, that'd be $40,000?
Mm-hmm. And the year
I'd do
after
it on every single sale. Every single sale. And let Shelly do the presentation. Let's Chris or Craig do the presentation. Let me do the presentation. I'm used to you don't have to do the presentations. You're just an inviter. In fact, Shelly, as you know, a lot of my top teams, you guys should say, well, here's the time you could tell them I'll talk to them. You have it all preset. So you do an EXP explained every Thursday at noon at wherever. It's preset. I'm going back to doing EXP explains at least once a week for my group. So you guys don't have to do it. You just invite them to it. Say there's no, I always do the takeaway. We're not expecting you to move from Coldwell Banker, but if you want to know about us, you might as well hear about us. And if they say, well, my Coldwell Banker managers told me all about you guys. I said, really? So you're getting the information? That's kind of strange. So you're getting the information from about EXP from your manager at Coldwell Banker? Oh, I don't know. I know Susie really well, but who knows? I don't know if she
I
really
can elaborate on that too.
She calls me. She can come to the meeting. Then she'll really know all about us.
Yep, I can elaborate on that too, Gene. I just kind of took it to the next level. Instead of taking somebody for coffee or meeting an agent, take them to coffee or something like that, I took them to Puerto Rico. And again, we didn't talk EXP or anything like that, just to show a way to do it on a higher level if need be. And you were a big part of it. But when I spoke with Artemisa, she came to some things that we were doing, some masterminds and whatnot, and she told me, like, Chris, I know a lot of people at EXP. I really don't want to be recruited. And I said, that's great. I'm just interested more in your business and who you are. And I'm pretty impressed with what you do. And if you ever do want to switch, I'd appreciate it if you'd let me throw my hat in the ring. And left it at that. Never brought it up again, anything like that. And then they were going to buy some property in Mexico. And those of you who don't know Artemisa, she's the #1 Hispanic agent in the world. And she sells over 300 homes a year as a solo agent, with lots of help from assistants and showing agents and whatnot. But I said, you really should check out Puerto Rico. I've been down to Shelly's many a times, I've been to Gene's house, Brent's house, whatnot. And I said, there's a great community down there where they live, ton of stuff to do for the kids and everything. I said, just check it out. So before we went down there, I just let everybody know, let's not talk EXP whatsoever. I said, I'm just bringing her to check out properties. She's a good friend of mine now. We just got to leave it alone. She's happy where she's at. So we go down there. 3 days we spent with you guys. We went to different places and whatnot. We never talked EXP once, anything like that. The last night we were there, we were in Kevin and Shelley's kitchen and we're just talking and whatnot. And Artemisa's husband Mike brought up the fact that, okay, what's the deal with EXP? And I'm like, okay, and Kevin says, what do you want to know? And he says, well, what do you guys make a month? Like 15 grand a month or whatever. And Kevin just pulls it up on his phone and he showed him. And he goes, holy smokes. And it was hundreds of thousands of dollars, but that's not why I'm going there. But he goes, well, really? And he goes, yeah. And he said a year? He goes, no, a month. And they were like blown away by that. And they said, well, they started asking a lot of questions. I immediately said, well, why don't we do this? Why don't we have breakfast with Gene tomorrow morning? We'll see if he's available. And if he is, let's meet him and he can explain everything about it. I took that off of me. Let's the pros do it. The guys that really know and understand EXP obviously know it inside and out. But we went to breakfast and we met for about an hour and a half and had a great time and everything else. And at the end of the meeting, Mike says, so all we got to do is sign up under Chris? Gene says, yeah. Okay, sounds good. So they did. And it was that. But I mean, what I want to get back to is we didn't talk about EXP ever before that. We didn't talk about why we were down there. We let them ask the question. And when they were ready, we answered those questions. And, all we were doing is letting them know what we know, basically, and why we're there and what EXP has to offer. And from there, just let it happen. So whether it's a coffee or anything like that, and it's so important, like what you said, Gene, I think is, give them something, give them a gift. Like you say, it doesn't matter if it's $5, $100, or if you're going to Puerto Rico, anything like that. But it just depends on where they're at in their career. They're going to switch sometime, but you just want to be available when they are. So I appreciate that too, Gene, when we were down there. I really do.
Yeah, let me add on to that. Probably 100% of the time, they won't bring up revenue share or the stock we have, right? Because they don't have it. So what you want to do when you meet them is talk real estate. Where do you see the business going? How's it going for you? Oh my gosh, I need another assistant. I'm just terrible here. I need more leverage. And you talk real estate. Well, guess what? We have the solution for that. That's where most of the solutions will come. And it won't come from rev share. It'll come from increasing their business. So the big key that I tell agents, the reason I've become a very, very good recruiter, and I don't mind telling people that that's what I've done for a living, is I listen intently. I don't listen. I listen intently, and I take notes, and I write them down. So there's going to be a need. There's going to be a need. Everybody has a need. Everybody wants to improve, right? Well, so I just listen intently. And by the way, doesn't mean I know we have the solutions now at EXP. I know we have. I've always wanted to go up in price range. Really? You're kidding. You've always wanted to do luxury? Well, gosh, and then I don't know luxury as well as the head of luxury. So I set up a meeting with the head of luxury to explain what we have. I want to do commercial. I set him up with Sean Murphy, head of commercial. So I use other people just like you guys would. Listen intently. By the way, this isn't hard. I can tell right now the people on this that are listening intently. You're actually looking. It's not, you're engaged, right? I can tell even on a Zoom if somebody's listening intently. It's just innate. Don't you hate when you talk to somebody and they're looking off to the side? Don't you hate when they're not even, you can tell they're not even listening to you? I've had conversations like that, right? Like that person's not even listening to me.
Gene,
So,
I have a question.
Yep.
Hi, by the way, nice to meet you. I'm Willow. I'm with the Lee Tessier team. So I'm a natural connector. And I love all the things that you told us today. Yeah, it does come naturally. Like the beginning of January, I told all my girlfriends we're getting together once a month for game night, and hopefully they'll bring their husbands, they'll bring friends, so we have that set up for this year, and you had just mentioned that. So it does come natural to me. I was thinking out of the list that you had gone through is divorce attorneys. I really want to get into um contacting divorce attorneys, but I wanted to kind of maybe role play, or you guys can give me some advice on how am I connecting with these people? I feel like calling might be, a hang up, or I might want to go in person, but is that too forward? What are your thoughts on
I think whatever feels comfortable for you. Don't think of the way anyway. Just take action.
okay.
Whatever feels comfortable for you. Don't think so hard about it. Just take action. I met an agent, by the way, at Cabo last year, Shelley, that did nothing but she felt so passionate about women that were getting divorced, and she actually set up a club, and it's a club of divorced women, for divorced women, almost like a therapy session. She goes, it's great. And so, because a lot of them get messed over, they don't get as much or whatever, and they haven't worked. She was saying, sometimes I have these poor women, they haven't worked for 20 years, and all of a sudden they're divorced. And anyway, but that was her club. She goes, Gene, I get all my business from that because it's a purpose for her. See, I think if we work from purpose, life's good. I think purpose.
Thank you.
You have no willpower. I read this the other day. This is a week into the first year. 25% of you have already not done what you said you were going to do at the first of the year. 25% have already, that New Year's resolution is over. By the end of the month, 50% by the end of January, 50% of the people said they were going to lose weight, get in shape, do this, whatever. It's over. By the middle of February, 85% of the people that said, I'm going to change this year, I'm going to do this, it's done. There's only 15% of us that actually follow through. And you know what the key to the 15%? Who cares about the 85%? The 85%, that you don't have willpower. Willpower, it's a myth. I read this the other day. Willpower is a myth. We don't even have willpower. But the 15% that succeed have a system. And here's the system. And I've taught this forever. Guys, 2 years ago in 2 months, I gave up sugar and I gave up bread. And so I wrote it down, but I am really not going to give up sugar and bread. And I kept track. Here's the key too. You got to be very specific at what you're going to do. I didn't say I'm just going to lose weight. I'm just going to do whatever. I'm going to give up sugar. Try that before November, before Thanksgiving and Christmas, with all those desserts. I did not eat one dessert at Thanksgiving. Didn't eat one dessert, but I kept track. Here's the key. It's very specific what I was going to do, and I kept track of it. Okay? I wrote it down in my own handwriting, kept it with me all the time, and did it. Now, saying that, it's very, very key. And here's the key to everything too, of hitting goals or anything. There's always one thing you need to do. My one thing was to give up sugar. I eat everything else. Everybody laughs at me. They go, oh, so you gave up carbs. No, I love pasta. I love French fries. I'm not giving them up. So you don't, nope. And they go, well, you stopped this. I said, no, I just gave up sugar. Okay, one thing. The one thing for you for a real estate career is to become a lead generator and to know where your leads are coming from. That's it. Forget everything else. Forget about being the best at writing contracts. Forget about the best at doing inspections. I am terrible at that crap. You can ask my wife. I was terrible at writing contracts. I would sell 5 homes on a Saturday and come home and she goes, none of them are filled out. I said, I told them I'd do it later. Why? Because my job was to get leads, put people into homes, and everything else. I never went to inspections. I never went to closings. Sorry, I never went to closings. I'll teach you that later. You know, why? Because I was selling so many homes. This is my job. My job is to be the connector. My job is to get the leads. Once I understood that, I wasn't confused about what I should do. I was in the business a year and a half, and I came home and told my wife, we could move anywhere in the United States. I know what I'm doing. I'm not confused. We can move anywhere. I know how to generate leads now. Okay? Until you do that, you're just going to work hard. And then I hear you 5 or 6 years later going, I'm burnt out. Because you don't have funnels. You don't have buckets that are just generating leads for you. You know, the really bad thing about our business, I'll be blunt with you. What's happened over the last 15 years? Who's trying to be our lead generator?
Zillow.
Zillow.
Online leads, terrible.
Online leads. 2 million people call you up. You probably get 3 texts a day. I'll provide you leads. I'll provide you leads. I'll provide you leads. I'll provide you leads. If you keep relying on that,
In the trash.
yeah, I never had that. And even if I had it, I wouldn't do it. All the top producers I know, I'm going to repeat this, have at least 3 buckets. They can say, Gene, I sell 50 homes a year from my past clients. I sell 120 homes from my farm area because we sell this many listings and this many buyers off all our open houses. And then boom. And my third one is boom, my bike club. You wouldn't believe it. I'm a biker and I get all my leads from my bike club. You know, and they're so specific. They're so detailed. They know where their leads are coming from. They're not confused. And by the way, if one bucket starts to turn down, they get another bucket. It's not like I haven't adapted in my career, right? In the 80s, I sold a lot of foreclosures because that's what foreclosures were. And then I went to new homes. I sold a lot of new homes. I mean, you know, I just adapted and I made sure I had buckets where I had 20 or 30 sales from that bucket every year. 20 or 30 sales from that bucket. Get 3 buckets, you're selling 100 homes a year.
That's
Is that okay
excellent.
with you guys? I mean, it's real. I'm just being real with you. I'm just, hey, let me tell you what I did with, I was written up in the paper because I told a newspaper guy in Dallas, Texas that I didn't go to closings. You know what he said? What? You don't go to closings? Explain that to me. I said, no, I didn't go to closings. Well, then I had realtor buddies calling me from the news article saying, you don't go to closing? What kind of realtor are you? I said, well, here's what I do. Watch this. Before I had a client, literally my clients, I told them what I was going to do. Here's my job. My job is to find you the best home with a buyer or a seller, is to sell it as quick as you can and get you moved. I said, but once it's under contract, you won't see me because Linda takes over, my transaction closing coordinator. She's phenomenal. She is so detailed, you're going to love Linda. And I would tell them, I would shake their hand. I would shake their hand when I was under contract. And I said, you're not going to see me for a while. You know, I'll check in once a week to see how things are going, just to say, but you know, Linda handles everything. I said, do you know of anybody that's as good as you? Write this down. You know of anybody as good as you? This is so much fun. By the way, they're not closed. They're closing in 3 weeks. But the contract's what? Under contract. Guess what they do when they go back to the nursing station, that the nurse or the guy that's whatever, they tell everybody at their work, I just put a home in we're moving in 3 weeks. Right? Don't they do that? That's when they tell people it's kind of like buying a new car and you tell everybody you bought a new car and you see the new car. So I said, hey, send me people just like you. You were fun to work with. We haven't closed yet. You guys think I'm crazy? It works. So then they go to work and send me more people, right? I always got leads from my people. Now, it's a week before closing. By the way, I tell them on my sheet of paper, I don't go to closings. You know, my mortgage guy will be there, but there's no reason for me to be there because all I do is pick up a check. A week before closing, I tell them they got to I have Linda and we call them and say, hey, you have to have a check for this amount. Here's what it's going to be. You know, as you know, I don't go to closing. Okay, closing's at 12 o'clock. By the way, the title company, we close with title companies in Texas. They know I'm going to do this. This isn't a shock. A half an hour into the closing, I knock on the door. I open the door. Susie, Bob, Kelly, am I messing things up for your closing? I am so sorry. I just had to barge in. And they go, oh, Gene, I didn't know you were going to come. I said, I'm sorry. I knew you liked red wine, Camus, like my wife. You like Camus. You like white wine. You know, I like Bob. I know you like. I am so sorry to bother you guys. Kelly, did I mess this thing up? I am so sorry. But I just want to say thank you. When are you guys moving in? Next Tuesday? Is it okay? I come by on Wednesday or Thursday to say hi? Okay, cool. See y'all later. Boom shakalaka. I was there 2 minutes. And what's Kelly instructed to say? Instructed to say by me. He's the best realtor in Plano, Texas. Oh my God. And they go, yeah. Oh my gosh. I can't believe he came to, he told us forever he wasn't coming to closing. I can't believe it. And Kelly goes, and by the way, he has this special envelope. He wants me to put all the closing papers in that have Gene Frederick all the way over it, my phone number, congratulations. And they don't put it in a Republic title closing folder or an Independence title closing folder. They put it in a Gene Frederick folder that I paid $2 for. And that's where they keep their papers. Cool technique, huh? Just so you know, that's the only way I could close 120 homes a year. I sold 18 buyers in 1 month. Try going to 18 closings for 2 hours. That's a week of my life. Now, once I got this system down, guess what happened when I talked to the other Shelley Johnsons and Craig's and Chris's? I talked to them and said, and they go, yeah, I don't go to closing either. I said, oh, really? So all my top producer buddies that were always number one at their companies, said, yeah, well, yeah, I always send Tim. I always send, I don't go to closing. I'm not going to sit there for 2 hours. Now, some of you guys are thinking, oh, he's not a good agent. You know, I'm telling you, it worked for me. I had systems. I had systems that worked. You guys want some scripts from the bad? How's your market? Tell me, is the market, raise your hand if the market's just awesome and everything's selling. Okay. Evidently, the market's kind of like this, right? Here's a script on listings that I've used forever, and you guys can use it because it really is important in a market like this. Because they might have bought that home for $1 million, and guess what? Unfortunately, it might be still worth $1 million. It hasn't gone up in 5 years because of the market. Here's my script, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. You either want to be the firstborn, the second spouse, or the third realtor. And they kind of laugh. They go, why? I said, the firstborn gets all the attention, has all the pictures made of them, and the mom and dad always think they're going to be president of the United States. I said, I'm the thirdborn. There's no pictures of me. I said, you want to be the second spouse? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. They laugh. I said, but I want to be the third realtor. And they said, why? And I said, because the first realtor is going to come in and say, oh, you bought it for $1 million. We can put it on the market for $1 million too. And it sits on the market for 3 to 4 months. Second realtor says, we'll reduce it to $1.1 million. And you kind of reduce it a little bit, and it sits on the market for 3 or 4 months. I want to be the third realtor, the one that's going to come in and be real with you and show you what it's going to sell for in this market. Why don't we skip the first two and hire me today? I'm going to show you what it's going to sell for. How's that? That was my script for being real in a market. By the way, all the scripts I learned were in tough times. You know why? Why? Because my market in the 80s was terrible. I got all these from going to seminars and listening to people, and they go, oh, I thought I can use that one. These are all not made up scripts. They were just scripts that basically I learned from a top producer at another company. And I went, oh, that's me. I'll use that one. I'll practice that. I think that'll work. You got to get real with people now, don't you? You know, they're not going to be able to sell the home. If they bought it in 2021, I bought mine in 2020, right before the uptick. You know, Man, everybody's so concerned. Look at it. Yeah. Even Lee's attentive. Even Lee's looking at me. Look at that. This is awesome. I hope you guys are getting stuff out of this. A lot of people don't have their faces up, but I know they're probably taking showers or something. I don't know what they're doing.
Gene, those scripts just remind me of like 2010, 11, 12, all those good times. So the market, everybody, most of them didn't live through that, of those good times. So hopefully,
Well, 10, 11, that's what most people do, because their last turn was 8, 9, 10, 11. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Just so you know, before that, I had 2 other downturns I dealt with. The 80s in Texas were terrible. And the dot-com bust was a bad time too. So I had 2 downturns before 07, 08, 09, 10. So I had scripts to teach people. I taught them, here's what you say. You got to go in. You got to be real with people. You know, firstborn, second spouse, or third. And by the way, I tell people, as far as presentations, whatever, and Shelley's known me enough, this is me. This is me 100% of the time, unfortunately for my wife. But I really like to joke a lot. And when I say that, I like humor. Humor in my presentation works. If I don't get them to laugh a little bit or whatever, I'm in trouble. That's just me personality-wise. If you have a different personality, be yourself. Just be yourself. Don't try to be me. God, who can be Brent Gove? My God, right? But I hear some of Brent's scripts. I go, ooh, I couldn't do that. Ooh, Brent was really brutal with that person. But that's Brent, right? You've got to develop your own scripts, your own way of communicating. At the same point in time, if you listen intently to your buyers, you'll sell them every time. To your sellers, you'll sell them every time. And the third thing is, if you'll be brutally honest with both, you'll make it in this business. I never worked nights. I never worked on Sunday. You're going, how'd you sell 120 homes a year? I was very intentional between 7 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock at night. I worked early. I'm an early bird. Anybody here done a listing at 7:30 in the morning? 7:30, yeah, Chris. 7:30 in the morning works great. I would show up at 7:30. Kids are running around trying to get the cereal, trying to get ready for school, and I'm doing the listing presentation in 10 minutes. What do you think it's going to sell for, Gene? Okay, it's going to sell for $4.99. Believe me, let's price it at $5.10, whatever it was, you know. And they go, cool, man. Listings in the morning, but that's my good time. I've already played golf this morning. I've been up since 5. But I didn't like to go at night, because if I went at night, you know, they're watching American Idol. And the listing presentations went on forever at night. So I just started working. You guys should work when you feel good, when your energy is good, not when theirs is.
I love the morning, Gina, because it helps the person, like they have something else to do. Like you said, those
Exactly.
at night, you could live at their house. You're like, how do I get out of here without like seeming rude?
Oh, I never went at night. I just told him, and flat out raising 5 kids. You know, I had no problem telling them I wanted to play dad. You know,
Well,
I wanted to pick the kids up from school. I wanted to be there. You know, and people respect you for that. They actually don't respect you if you go, hey, yeah, just call me anytime. I said between 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock, I am dad. At 9 o'clock, I'll call you back and set up the listings for the next day. Is that okay with you? And they go, yeah. Then it takes me 5 minutes at 9 o'clock to call them back and say, here's what we're going to see tomorrow. Have systems. Have systems. And people will respect you for that.
How do you shake off rejection? Because you're one of the best people I've ever seen where, you know, you just don't get tied to the outcome. You move on, you go to the next thing. And I've seen you, because right now when we get a rejection or things aren't working out, our seller's being tough on us, or we're having another agent be difficult. Like, how do you shake that off? Because your optimism and your gratefulness and how you lead your heart, I believe, is the foundation to your success.
I don't know if that's innate or whatever, if it comes from my mom or whatever telling me, you know, my mom said, wrote it in the book, you can't say try, You know, I know as a kid, I'm going to try to do this. She goes, no, you can't say try. You either do it or you don't. I go, really? She goes, yeah, you either do it or you don't. There's no such thing as try. So I think coming from that upbringing of just, she was a teacher, is just being very positive at all times. I didn't sell every listing. You've got to be kidding me. In this market, if somebody says, oh, I sell all my listings, I said, man, wow. I should have seen you in the New Testament. You know, I don't know how you did that. And I didn't sell every buyer, but I tend to think where I became really good at is getting so many leads that the really bad people, the people that were ugly, the people that went, whoa, I hate that person. I don't know about you, but there were some clients I went, whoa, I don't want to work with them. Since I had so many other clients, I let them go away, Shelley. I let them go to other people.
Yeah, I've noticed when you're at your home or anything I've ever done with you, you are always attracting people that are on the path of like-mindedness. So I'd imagine that's how your real estate career has also shaped up.
Well, and the people you hang out with,
Mhm.
you know, like I said, the other top producers I got to know, we were kind of all in the same boat, and we were all celebrating each other. You know, we were all always encouraging each other. I can remember when I sold homes. I mean, my poor kids, they thought Susan and I, that's all we did was talk about, you know, but that's what we did. We talked, but we were positive. If you have negative folks in your life, spend as little time as you can with them. They'll drain you down. Don't share your goals with other people in your family that don't understand sales. I got news for you. I mean, I love my brothers. I have 4 brothers that aren't in sales at all. They've done other careers. They've been great, but they probably don't understand me very well. I have a sister that's in sales in Scottsdale, Arizona. If you ever need a good realtor in Scottsdale, her name is Ann Collins. She's awesome. She'll kill it. But Ann understands me. We talk all the time. My brothers have never referred me one person. They're not connectors. They're not salespeople. It's okay. I love them. I'm not expecting it. So quit expecting people that aren't going to send you referrals to send you referrals. Get to know connectors and salespeople. Now all of a sudden your life's good. I tested this out when I was writing the book because I've got connectors and salespeople in my book. I give an example of a connector. His name's Davin Michaels. He's the reason I'm here. And the guy that was helping me write the book goes, I don't believe you. I told him this example of Davin in the book. And he goes, well, call Davin right now. I called Davin right then. You know what I said to Davin? I said, Davin, I need somebody that's either moving in real estate or anything right now. Could you go find me somebody? He says, give me a second. Right then, he started calling folks. All I had to do was ask. Does that make sense? He's a connector. It's what he does. It's in his heart. There's not a lot of connectors, but when you find one, boom shakalaka. You're going, whoa, I get 5 leads. Then you ask them for more. They give you more leads and salespeople. And all of a sudden you're up and going, man, this isn't, you know, you're going to get burnout if you don't have buckets, or you can call them funnels or whatever, that are giving you leads and you're working with fun people. If you're working with jerks, that's when the business gets tough. Hate to say it. And I know it's tough right now. I talk to agents all over the United States. I know it's not, you know, homes aren't flying off the market. You know, buyers aren't everywhere. But guess what? If you stick it out, I think I feel something in 26, at the latest 27. Hang in there, guys. Hang in there. Because when the market turns, boom, shock, you know, all of a sudden you're going, oh, Gene, I can't, ooh, right? You're getting leads from your database. You're getting leads here. You get leads, you know. Anybody pick their 3 buckets already? Raise your hand if you picked out your 3 buckets from what I gave you. I think I gave you about 50 of them, my 101. There you go. You got to know them. When I say don't share with family, you can, but I never told my family I never shared with them my big dreams, because they would probably go, yeah, right. You're going to live in Puerto Rico someday. You're going to have a boat in the BVI's. You're going to, because they wouldn't understand me. I talked to my sister Ann. She goes, "Oh yeah, I got my vision board too, Gene." Right? We can talk our own vision. We can have our own fun together, right? My other brothers, they haven't even understood me for 40 years.
With your best friends.
They're good. They're still my buddies. I love them, but they really don't understand me. Entrepreneurs are weird folks. I'm sorry. We are outliers. There aren't a lot, sorry about that, because we just are. We think differently. Hang out with those people that think differently. You know what? I'll tell you this quick story. Onassis. Do you guys know Kennedy married Onassis, right? Remember Onassis? He was the richest man in the world. And after, John died, she married Onassis, right? And they asked Onassis, the richest man in the world. It's almost like asking Musk right now. What would you do differently? Because he did not grow up rich. He says, it's really simple. Here's what I would do. I would work 3 jobs, at least 3 jobs. I'd save up money, and then I'd go to that clothing store and buy the best suit I could buy. And then I'd spend a couple more months, work 3 jobs, save my money, and I'd put on that really nice suit, and I'd go eat at that restaurant. Mm-hmm. And I'd go meet as many people as I could in that restaurant, because that's the connectors. That's the salespeople. He goes, it would have shortened because I know those people are the ones thinking different. Those people are the ones that are right? Mm-hmm. The ones that come to Cabo to our events, the ones that come to and get in the groups and get into our masterminds, those are the people you want to be around. I'm sorry, it's that simple. If you're around people that are going, "Oh, poor is me, poor is me." Susan and I got together 30 years ago. We've been married almost 31 years. We literally got new friends 30 years ago. I said, this is not going to work. We put our hands together. We literally did. We'd go out on a Friday night. And it was like, "Oh, poor is me." I said, my God, this is killing me. Get around the positive people. That's why I hang out with Shelly. That's why I hang out with Brent. I got news for you. Brent and I are more fired up now than I was. I've been here 10 and a half years. I'm more fired up this year. I'm going back to basics. Guys, I'm going back to basics. Get as many leads as I can.
Gino, I know I remember Craig and I, when we were working together really closely with our team in 2010, 11, 12, I remember the feeling of coming out of that market. And that's what I feel right now. I feel like if you put the energy in and take the action to what Gene's saying, pick those things. It's super concise. I have literally, I think, 8 pages of notes, and I live next to Gene. So take those things, get them super clear. Could you talk a little bit about writing down your goals and how critical it is to put them in front of you so you can visualize them? I know that I really appreciate you going so long, and we'll let you go, I promise.
Well, you guys, you just let me know. I've got plenty of time. Here's what I'm going to tell you. When I say I live this is my blue notebook, famous blue notebook. And I've got all my goals in here for EXP. I've kept track of everything I've done at EXP every single month, for, 10 years. But I recruited Jay Kinder with this blue notebook. Mm-hmm. Because basically I showed him what I was doing written down, and that I tracked everything. And he goes, "Oh, I could do that." I've recruited so many people with the blue notebook because it was real. By the way, everything's handwritten. Everything's handwritten. Just a few years ago in 2022, Glenn Sanford came out to Puerto Rico, and he said, it was so funny. I showed him the analysis I'd done because I knew 2022 is when the market hit and we slowed down. And he says, "Oh, we're going to grow next year." I said, "No, we're not." And I showed him my handwritten all the stuff I'd collected for the last 20 years. I said, when we hit a bad market, we'll be lucky if we stay even as agent count. He goes, "Really?" He goes, "And it's all done by hand." And Glenn starts laughing. I mean, I don't have all my charts are done by hand. And he goes, Oh, okay. Guess what? Since 2022, has our company exploded? No. You know why? Because in a down market, it's hard to grow. It just is. It's okay. But in 26 and 27, when we go out, you need this year to make sure you call every single agent 3 days after closing and go, you know what? I've got a small gift of appreciation for you. I never got to meet you. You were so much fun to work with. How about, and you meet 50 agents next year. It'll change your life. Because I got news for you. What's going to happen is when we start exploding is when the recruiting will go crazy. I already know it. I feel it. That's why Brent and I are so excited. I don't know why. We talk to enough people across the nation in different markets. Writing them down is really important. I don't know why, but I've read so much stuff on goal setting. Writing them down, being specific about what you're going to do, the more specific you can, and knowing two other things. Number one, what's the 1% one thing you should do? There's really just one thing you should be doing, not 10. One thing. Well, we talked about it today. Become a lead generator on steroids. And then the third thing is have a purpose. I've got a purpose. I want to save real estate agents from being stressed out. I've got $1 billion the next 4 years. It's called rev share. EXP will pay out $1 billion in rev share the next 4 years. If I can help agents get part of that, their life's better.
Yep.
I'm just telling you. Don't you guys think a couple thousand a month helps the stress go away? It does to me. So, you know, and I know we didn't want to talk about rev share today as much as sales. Sales are great, but sales don't repeat every year. Rev share repeats every year. That's why I'm passionate about it. Because as you're selling, you can do rev share too. Come on. Have a system.
Leverage Shelley.
Leverage Shelley. I would burn. Do you guys know how pesty Shelley was? She bugged me for like 60 days. I was on the phone all the time with her people. Why? Because Gene, can you talk to this person? Gene, can you talk to this person? They're all the same. Brent Go. When we got Brent Go, hey, Gene, I got somebody for you. Boom, 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 boom. I was so busy. It was awesome. I want to get busy again. I want you guys to just blow me up. Gene, I got another one for you. Gene, I got another one for you.
I mean, it's the first time we've been, have you ever, I remember this, Craig and I talked about this a lot. You know, when have you ever had free leadership work for you? We were selling, Craig and I were just always trying to figure out what to do next, how to do it. And there was no support, no help. They promise you the world, smoke and mirrors. But when I joined EXP and we joined EXP, the leaders just said, come and show me, come. But the thing of it is, you have to meet us halfway. You have to meet us. We can't do it all. You blow my phone up, you're going to get a call within minutes, probably a second. If I see that call come through, it's going to happen. I'm not going to let you sit there. So, I mean, just like leverage us, because that's what we want to do. We want to help you, whether it's sales or whatever your goals are. If you want to make this attraction thing part of what you do what Gene said, because you have nothing to lose. You have everything in the world to gain and nothing to lose. I mean, if life freedom, time freedom, family freedom, quality, being excited about tomorrow, knowing that you're going to be okay if something tragic happens in your family and you need those 6 months to not have to focus on sales. Like that's what we're talking about. It's not, you know, Gino doesn't have to do this call. He could be retired, but he will never retire because I know him. He loves what we're doing together here. And he never has to ever do one more phone call. If he could play golf and ride in his yacht and move on, but he doesn't. He like pours into us and he's so excited about it. He just does it. It's amazing. So I love this company. I love the agents and the teams, like getting to know Lee Tessier and Chris Fritch and their leadership. And, you know, we have tough days. Like leaders have freaking tough days. Like
Yep.
we hit our, I know Craig will call me and we will talk, and it's like you need those rocks in your life, those people you can depend on, and when things get tough, they turn and shine the mirror and go, let's smile about this because tomorrow's not. And Craig said to me it's 100 times in our how long we've been partners, 13 years. Tomorrow's a sunny day. Today's a rain cloud day. We all have them. I mean, that's going to happen. But the bigger thing is if we can just refocus back to what we talked about today, you don't have to live in that, like, what am I going to do? I'm scared. Fear keeps people from doing a lot of things, including myself. I have to get out of my own head. I can't remember. I was sick over the holidays and I was sick of being sick and I was aggravated with myself. And I called Lee and Lee's like, oh, you're going to be fine, Jelly. Like he just tough it out. Like, get out there and run, do something, get in the sunshine. It'll burn it out of you. I don't know, but we just have each other and you need those people because it just matters. And that's why I wanted to put this group together, because each of you on this Zoom, each person on our team that's here, I know has it. Reed, I see you. How many transactions do you do a year, Reed? I know you're muted. How many does he do, Lee?
I think you did 54 last year. Paul did
54
41.
transactions, done up to like probably 80, I think, when the market's
Yeah,
strong.
especially with 83.
So 83 on a team. And Lee and Reed, I see them. They work out together. They're buddies. It's like you have to just pick those running partners and find those people on the team, off the team, across teams, whatever it is. But like, there's so many resources inside our company now with the fast cap for newer agents on our team, and we're leveraging that because we know that it helps agents sell more homes. But if you just do what Gene says and stick to a program and follow what Craig and Sue and our team are doing, and Amy, the leaders on our team, we help each other, we can all get there. So I just really, it's exciting to listen to Gene. I get excited. I'm literally like so pumped up about what we have coming for us.
This is awesome, Shelley. I got a team meeting here. I got to roll.
Okay.
But thank you so much, Gene, and thank you, Shelley and Lee. Appreciate it, and everybody on this call. Great call. Let's
Thank
do
you,
it again.
guys.
Looking forward to it. You
you
guys don't
guys.
have to leave. I just do. You guys keep
We all do, because it's like 9:05. We're killing time, but I wanted to just like thank everybody for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Shelley. Appreciate it.
Chris.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Be
Gene.
good. Be good.
Bye.
See you in
Hey, Shelley.
Cabo.
Thanks.
See you in Cabo. Bye.